hooked on you, baby, you're golden. Time moves, I never noticed, just can't get enough. Got me wonderstruck.
How's it going? A long time no see. Welcome back to the Great Good North. Feels so good. Ooh, sloppy mud. Feels so good to finally be back making lawn care videos here on the channel. It's been a long time. We're gonna get into all the things that happened, but for now, let's actually enjoy a little bit of warm weather, sweater weather early this year, and let's take a look at what's going on in the lawn. So for those of you who are new here, my name's Wade Murray and I'm a lawn care enthusiast, as well as I worked in the industry, and my goal here is to teach Canadian homeowners and as well as American homeowners and general homeowners how to have a better lawn or the best lawn on the block. So if that sounds like a plan to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got plenty of videos coming up here in the spring detailing working on your own lawn, things you can do to improve your lawn, everything from beginner stuff if this is something you've never done before, to the more extreme stuff or the more expert stuff for those of you who are really into this and you're looking to take your lawn to the next level. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. So as I mentioned, I was a little vacant for the end of the year last year. This is because I do work a day job. I build decks, and that is a seasonal job as well, and it gets quite busy in the fall coming up to Christmas every year because that is kind of the final push before winter. So that is why I didn't get a chance to film a lot of videos in the fall. I did film one video with the final tour of the lawn, how everything looked, in about November. So I'm going to be releasing that coming up here in the next couple days. I'm just going to release that out, and you guys will get to see how the lawn looked last year. Kind of gives you an update on everything I did in the yard during the year, and that will be a good setup for what's coming up here in the spring. So without further ado, let's take a look at how things are looking here. So in my area in the GTA, we had a very mild winter compared to what we've had before. So right now, today is currently February 22nd, and I can actually see the grass. I can walk on the grass. I was wearing a t-shirt this afternoon. This is very weird for us. I would say total this year, we've maybe had 14 to 16 inches of snow total. Time that the lawn has been covered in snow this year, maybe 3-4 weeks. So we have a lot of wet snow. It's been very warm, everything kind of hovering above the zero. We didn't get our first snow of the year till about mid-January, our first measurable snowfall. And then we were warm, we were over 15 degrees last week, and then we cooled back down again. And now we're snowed a little bit over the weekend, got another 5-10 centimeters, that all melted, and now we're back where we are now. So I figured it's a good time to take a look at the lawn and talk about everything, as well as some future plans coming up for this year. So what better place to start than the back lawn? For those of you who don't know, this is my back lawn, what I call the main stage. This lawn here is about 15,000 square feet. It's a mixture of Kentucky bluegrass, perennial ryegrass, and creeping red fescue. It has more of the blue and fescue. The rye is kind of mixed in between. This is the lawn that we inherited when we purchased the house. I've been working on it ever since, and there is some things that I still have yet to fix, like these clumping fescue spots that drive me insane, but it's still a work in progress. But this lawn all year last year got treated with granular fertilizer, gets cut at a height about 3.75 inches during the summer, and it does get quite a bit of leaves. We have quite mature maple trees around. It does get quite a bit of leaf cover in the fall, a lot of traffic, raking and everything. But let's take a look at how things look after winter. For first thing I'm noticing here, right beside the deck, we do have mice that live under the deck, and sometimes they live in the house even though we don't want them to. So I am noticing some of these trails. For those of you who are noticing similar things to this is called the vole damage. They're field mice basically. They burrowed underneath the snow at the time, and they would have eaten at the grass to provide a food source for them and their family over the winter time. So this is what you're seeing here. This is basically the chewed up thatch of the grass that they ate. This grass will come back. I mean, all they ate was the leaf surface. As you can see, the roots are still left, so all of this will recover perfectly fine in the spring. I've had this in this similar area in years before. Again, the mice, you can literally see the holes where they're coming from underneath the deck, and they're working their way out. I do have groundhogs in this area, as well as moles, so I am happy that I don't have either of those in my lawn at the moment, knock on wood. Other than that, looking around, as I said, temps were really warm, not a lot of snow. I'm normally seeing a lot more matted grass for this time of the year, but I mean, like over here it's a little matted, but it's still quite green, quite lush. It's not really matted. Like, I wouldn't say that this needs a ton of raking. You know, this area to me looks pretty good, ready for spring. A little bit of raking, a little bit of fertilizer, this will be able to kick back in no problem. Now in areas over here, as I mentioned before, because of the amount of leaves we get from the trees, this area gets trampled up and down in the fall. It is a shader area. This is bluegrass majority over here, and the fescue kind of starts there where the sun starts. So as we all know, bluegrass takes a longer time to green up in the spring. It does better in the summer, but it looks like crap in the spring and kind of lags in the fall. This area is normally quite swampy, a little wet. This is kind of where the drain comes and goes this way. This is also where the septic tile field is. But overall, I mean, this area is looking quite good compared to what it's been in years past. The traffic from the leaves is something that you can't prevent. A little bit of raking in this area should help dethatch this, clean everything up, and get things going in the right direction. So a couple big things I want to be working on in the back here for this year. Number one, I want to be pushing more liquid in the summer. This was one of my goals last year, and time got the best of me. So we're going to be pushing more liquid in the summer, granular in the spring. I do want to do a full overseed of this in the spring and in the fall. We missed our overseed last year just because of access to a good aerator. So I'm at the bare minimum, this is going to be aerated in the spring and pushed with fertilizer, overseeded in the fall. But some of these thin patches, like here, as I've mentioned before, this area gets hit hard. Lack of sunlight from all these trees. We want to keep the trees, so basically we just continuously overseed it every year, and that's what kind of keeps this area full. It looks very thin now, but trust me, as soon as the spring comes, it will fill in very quickly. And then over here as well, this area down here is something that I want to focus on this fall as well. So seeding this again, as I have in the past, as well as that area. You can see it's still, you know, has grass in it. It's just very sparse. It gets thin in the fall from the leaf cover and from the amount of shade. The farther the year goes by, the more shade damage it gets. But as soon as the spring comes, especially when there's no leaves in the trees and everything greens up, it gets a good head start of the year. And just thickening it up every year with a little bit of overseeding is not a big deal to me. Another thing that's been driving me nuts in the backyard here is the bumps. So I was debating about rolling it and then aerating it after. The problem is I suffer so much with compaction in this backyard because of the fact that I mow this with a riding mower, which is something that I stopped doing last year because I bought a new mower. Teaser video coming up soon. But I've been wanting to kind of deal with some of the compaction issues in the ruts. Like, I mean, in some areas you can literally see the ruts from the riding mower. You know, you can see the lawn. That's another reason why I've been focusing on aerating and treating with humic, try to relieve that compaction in the soil. So big things in the backyard: relieve compaction, focus on my irrigation strategy, focus on fertilizer, and really get this moving, get this cooking. This backyard here is normally pretty self-explanatory, normally handles itself. Not too big plans going on back here. The big plans areas are for the side and for the front. So without further ado, let's go take a look at those. Alright, so this side faces north. Not really much to do over here. This I normally continue as the front. I began mowing this with my new mower, and I was noticing the compaction changes, so that was something I was very happy about. Some problems I have over there: I've always had some disease pressure from the fact that it's pretty close to the house, it's not aerated very well, as well as some general weed pressure. Nothing too crazy, but with it being the north side of the house, it doesn't tend to get a lot of sun, so it can be a little thinner over there. And that leads us into the front yard. What are the things we're working on this year for the front yard? Number one, as I said before, I struggled with disease a lot up here last year, so a couple things I'm focusing on up here is trying to thicken this stand up after it recovered from its disease, which was mostly up here, and it did recover quite well. I want to make sure that it's nice and thick and healthy for the spring. because that's the best way we're going to be able to improve this. So we're going to do an overseed here as well as an aeration first thing in the spring. That's the best way that this is going to recover from the disease it had. As well as this, we had this landscaping done up here in the fall, and they brought their machines through here. Didn't really tear up the grass too much, but they did leave some ruts and some potholes. So a couple divots in here, there's one over here, a couple things that need to be fixed. So this area, the plan in the spring is to aerate it and overseed it, hit it with a hard dose of granular right off the bat, and then this will be treated 100% liquid just like it was last year for the rest of the spring and into the summer and throughout the fall. Overall, I was really happy with the way the liquid worked out here. You know, I have no complaints whatsoever. So we're gonna keep working on this. Not really many thin areas to note, other than that one, which is caused by the walnut tree right here. Messes with the pH in the soil, kills the grass. So we're just overseeding, strengthening this area, but continue to cut it with the reel mower, as well as maybe I might do some minor leveling in this front lawn to get rid of some bad bumps I've noticed. But other than that, not much to do out there. Also, for those of you who commented about it in the last couple videos, I did build a shed. This is the new Great North Lawn Care headquarters is in here. I didn't record any of it, but you know, I'm a carpenter. To me, it's just nothing new, but I did build it 100% by hand, and it's going to be done soon, which is be really nice. This is another reason why I was so busy in the fall. When I wasn't working, I was working on this. So it's finally done, and I expect to see more videos coming up out of that building. The side yard, coupled with the test plots. The side yard, it's looking pretty good. Actually, you know what? I think it is looking the best that it has in the last more than a few years recovering from winter. There's still a ton of POA in here. You can see all the POA through here, all through here, all through here, and I can't stand it. So this year, what we're gonna do in this side yard, I want to kill everything from the house back that way. It needs some leveling. We dug a big trench in here a couple years ago for a drainage pipe for all of these eaves trough ends, and there's big divots where that trench is. It's sunk quite a bit in some areas, you know, 4 or 5 inches. So I want to level that out. I want to work on the grading a little bit. There's some weird humps and divots that I'm not a big fan of that I would like to fix. Finally, the test plots. For those of you who don't remember, this was the Growforge Elite Turf Grass 1, 2, 3, 4. These two were treated with balance line. These two were the tests. They weren't treated at all. This one was treated with balance line and straight line, and then this one was the Scott's Elite Turf Grass. So what I noticed here, this is not the best test because this box holds a lot of water and blah blah blah. It's in the shade too, but I noticed that these two seem to be performing the best to me. Again, there is some bull damage in here, but all in all, after the winter, the Growforge Elite Turf Grass ones seem to be quite a bit greener here than this Scott's stuff. Now, I've also noticed that the thatch in this Scott's seems to be very, very thick, which is something that we'll have to see in the spring. But we will be dismantling this and reseeding these plots here. Another option I've debated about with the plots is just splitting this square here into 4 monostem plots, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not going to be divided by any chance. They'll probably all grow together eventually, but it's just kind of to see what's the difference between different monostands, if that's something you are thinking about. And again, we're looking to continue the partnership with Growforge this year, get you guys that discount code, and hopefully bring you some more interesting videos throughout the year. So without further ado, let's talk about a few things that you can start thinking about this early in the season to get you ahead of the 8 ball for the lawn care season. So number 1, in this season or this time of the year, it's always good to start planning, thinking about what you have to tackle when your lawn is a problem. What are your test areas? What are you going to do here? What are you going to do there? Are you having some sort of event in your backyard? Is your backyard the main focus, front yard main focus? Take a mental note of what happened in the fall, where you were in the fall, and where you think you can go from there. So that's something that I think is really great to do, and I would definitely recommend. Maybe make a little journal, make a notebook. I normally just use the Notes app on my phone and make a nice detailed idea or plan of what I'm going to do in the lawn for the season. So that would be one of my recommendations for you if you're looking to take your lawn to the next level this season. Second, it's always never hurts to get out on a nice sunny day like this, pick up any debris you see in the lawn, leaves, sticks, whatever, and help clean that up, tidy it up, and make your cleanup in the spring a little easier. I always love doing spring cleanup. To me, it's the pre-lawn work. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I would rather be doing lawn work, but if I can do some spring cleanup and be able to get outside and, you know, kind of get teased about time in the lawn, then maybe that will be something that I will do. Finally, your equipment. If you have a lawnmower, you know, get it tuned up, get the blade sharpened, all this stuff. The season will be here before you know it, and you don't want to have that first cut of the year and you're not ready to get that cut out. So making sure that you get your lawnmower tuned up, your blade sharpened, all that stuff, getting everything inspected and ready to go. I normally like to give my equipment a pretty good clean early in the spring, make sure everything's nice and tidy and ready to go for the season. So I'll be doing that coming up here soon. And I'm going to be doing a video about how to sharpen your own motor blades, because that's something I do. And yeah, so all that videos coming up here soon. So if you're new here, definitely hit the subscribe button. Great content here coming up. Final thing I'm going to talk about is raking, because everybody always asks me about raking the lawn, or they see the lawn and they want to rake the lawn. Wait, hold off on raking your lawn yet. This is Canada, and I would bet my next paycheck that we will have another snowfall before the end of March. So just because it's spring and you think the lawn season's starting doesn't mean it's time to get all gung-ho. We know that the winter tends to, you know, strike 3 or 4 times, as what they all say. This is first spring, then we'll go into 5th winter and 2nd spring and all that stuff. So don't get too excited. Hold off on the raking, especially when your lawn is as wet and muddy as mine. Our ground here never really froze, so all that moisture is kind of sitting in those top surface layers, and as you can see here, it is quite a soupy, muddy mess out here. So hold off on raking. As I said, the only thing you can pretty much do right now is just go out, see if you can pick up some garbage, and that's probably going to get your best leg up for the upcoming lawn care season. So thank you guys for watching this video. I always appreciate your support. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment down below, or email them to me, greatcoonnorthlawncare@gmail.com, or you can submit them to my website, greatcoonnorthlawncare.ca. And if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the videos with your friends and family. We're going to keep this community growing, help each other out, become a great Canadian lawn care community up here. So from the Great Coon North, my name is Wade Murray. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it green.